Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Crystal. I'm the owner of Glorious Grace Designs, and today we're going to talk about alcohol inks. So I base painted my cup white. I used white spray paint, Rust-Oleum, satin I think is what I used for this one. I let that dry for 24 hours. So I saw this technique on TikTok. Graceful Rain Art is the name of the user on TikTok. She does some really beautiful work, and I wanted to see if I could do it. So I poured alcohol over the cup. You're going to saturate the cup in alcohol. I use 91%. Then I'm going to drop on alcohol inks. For this cup, I'm using purple ink. Purple, and also I'll be using gold. So what I'm learning here, because this is a trial and error tutorial, is I put too much ink on this first cup. So less is more. If you need to put on more, you can totally do that. It's a lot easier to put more on than it is to take it off. So I put on the alcohol inks, and then I'm using some alcohol to drop on there just to kind of make it swirl and move around. Again, I used way too much for this cup. I still like how it ended up, but it's just too much. You want a really pretty watercolor effect. So now I'm dropping on some of the gold ink. I love that gold alcohol ink. I could use it every day on everything. It is absolutely gorgeous. So again, I'm dropping on some alcohol just to kind of make it swirl it around. You can use heat, which I will do in a minute, to kind of swirl things around a little bit, and as well as dry things. You don't want to use that too early though, because that heat will dry it pretty fast, and then nothing's going to move and it's going to look like what it looks like. So make sure you have it like you want it before you use any kind of heat on it. The very first time I tried this, which I didn't video, it was a complete fail because I put the inks on there and then I immediately went with my heat to try to move it around, but all it did was dry streaks on there. It didn't move at all. It just dried it. And you can use as much or as little as you want. I wanted a little bit more gold, so I'm putting a little bit more in there. I'm also going to show you guys at the end of this how I seal this, what happens if you don't seal it. So be sure you watch the full video. And then I'll put some a video of the finished 2 cups. This was a practice one. The other one I did because I actually want to list it on my Etsy. So again, I'm throwing on some more gold ink. You guys be thinking of other tutorials you'd like to see me do. I have a bunch up already, but if there's anything specific that you haven't seen other people do, or maybe other videos have confused you, I'm happy to help. I love to make these to help people. And I would absolutely love it if you shared my YouTube with other people. I'd really like to grow my audience. Ultimately, I would like to be an influencer on Amazon. Pardon my dogs. So here I'm using the heat gun now. It's an embossing heater, and I'm going over this cup, just kind of letting it move a little bit, letting it dry really well. I love how that gold kind of swirled back and forth there. I think it looks really pretty. But I also think I used way too much ink on this cup, so lesson learned. You don't have to cover all of the white. You can leave some of the white. I think it looks really pretty when you do. At the very, very top there, I have some white left, but not very much. So there's that. These are really fast to make too. So again, yep, I used too much ink. Let's try this again. All right, so now I'm going to use a skinny cup. Again, I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum 2 times white. I let it dry 24 hours. Now I'm going to pour some alcohol over this cup. And I'm using teal and gold on this one. So I'm just going to drop on those inks. Trying to be careful that I don't use too much. Be patient with it. You don't have to fly through it. You can just let it sit and turn for a couple of minutes. Let it do some work. I also put ink on the bottom of the cup. I don't think the lady that makes these on TikToks does the bottoms of hers, but I put ink on the bottom of mine. So I'm just taking my time, adding more alcohol to make it move. It's not going to hurt it to pour alcohol on it, and it does help it to move. Again, I'm so sorry about my dogs. They're barking at somebody. I'm going to add more teal ink, but I went ahead and started dropping on some of the gold just to kind of see how they were going to blend together and what it would look like. You can use any colors you like. I'm a big fan of teal. Anytime I can use teal, I do it. Look at how pretty that gold is. And as you put that alcohol ink on there, it just spreads that ink out. It just gives it these really pretty effects. And if I can do this, you guys can do this, because I'm not a very patient person. I just want to throw some stuff on there and let's go. But this does take some patience. You see the top there, the darker lines that it's making and how it's kind of spread out. Oh, I just love this cup. It looks so cool. This would be the perfect cup for like wedding party cups, bridesmaids cups, anybody obviously that doesn't like glitter but likes color. And now you see me using that heat gun, and I'm just kind of going over it and swirling a little bit. It's kind of hard to see from this video, but I mean the color's a lot more vibrant than it looks like. I mean, as it dries too, it darkens up a little bit. How cool is that? And I dried it to where it kind of made it stop running. So you see those little peaks there. I thought that looked really cool, so I left it like that. As you're drying it, if you don't like how it looks, excuse me, you can drop on some more alcohol. You can drop on a couple more drops of alcohol ink, and then just kind of let it swirl again with your heat gun. So you can play with this as much or as little as you want to get the effects that you want. And this was perfect. I liked it just like it was. I didn't want to mess with it anymore. So now I'm just going to completely let this dry for 24 hours. Make sure that those inks are really good, dry, and set. And I just wanted to let it sit and turn for a little bit so that you can look at it. So after I let it dry for 24 hours, then you're going to seal it. So I wanted to see what would happen if you do, what would happen if you don't. So on this purple one where that most of that gold is, I sealed there with Rust-Oleum 2-Time Clear Gloss. The other side of the cup, I did not seal it at all. I just wanted to show you what happens if you do, what happens if you don't. Now keep in mind, I only used one coat of clear gloss on that one side of that cup. On the other side, I did not use anything. So only one coat on this side, and now I'm applying my Brite Tone. It did great. On the side that I sealed, even though I only put one layer of sealant on it, it did fine. I didn't have any issues at all. It didn't pull away from it. It didn't repel it. Now I did wait 24 hours after I sealed it to put the BT on. Now, rule of thumb, if you can put the cup up to your nose and smell it and you no longer smell the solvent, the spray paint, then you can move forward. You do not always have to wait 48 hours. If you can't smell it, you can move forward. So I did that sniff test because I'd only put one layer on there and I couldn't smell it anymore. So I went ahead after 24 hours and I'm using the Brite Tone on it. So what I'm noticing is it does perfectly on the side that I sealed. You see there, as I'm going around the other side of the cup and I'm putting the Brite Tone on, some of the alcohol ink is coming off on my finger. So it didn't all come off. It doesn't look horrible, but it does look streaky on the side I didn't seal because those alcohol inks are now activated and they're moving around. It doesn't repel the Brite Tone. It still goes on perfectly fine, but it is going to like kind of smear and move a little bit, and you'll see there that a little bit of that color comes off. So it's probably going to look duller on that side that I didn't seal. Now at the very end of this video, what I'll do is I'll take a video to show you my final results of sealing my teal cup, what that looks like with it all completely and totally sealed. I will post pictures in the Sassy Classy Crystal-Lac Epoxy Crafts group of the finished cup, the finished teal cup, once it's done. So you're going to make sure that you seal. You're going to make sure that you wait 24 to 48 hours after you seal. Do that sniff test to know when you can move on. And then move on with your Brite Tone, layer as much as you want, get it that glassy finish that you want, and then that's it. So again, I recommend sealing. The 2-Time Rust-Oleum works great. I did order some Kamar a varnish spray to use because I was going to try to do a test of Rust-Oleum Clear and the Kamar. Unfortunately, my Kamar came with no nozzle on it, not even a little tip to put a nozzle on, so I wasn't able to use it. But the Rust-Oleum worked just perfect. If you have any questions or suggestions for new videos, please comment below. Let me know. I love to help. You guys have a great day.